Hello and welcome to episode 22, which I promise will be shorter than episode 21, which got a bit out of hand. One of the questions that I've seen this week is to do with commentators' microphones, as in what microphone do people use for commentary on TV programmes or radio programmes, and why are they special? Well, realistically, you're listening to me on the comparison mic, the SM7B, and we could use a handheld microphone. We could use this one's Beta 58. So we could use a Beta 58 and you could do commentary like this. The SM58 is a couple of inches away from my mouth, but we're still going to hear the sounds of noises in the room. And if we were trying to use this at a football match or a WWE of all things, well, it's going to be complete chaos because there's people yelling and screaming and whatever. And the other thing, of course, is we could be in the situation that was mentioned on the internet, which was snooker. Well, in that case, you've actually got someone who's talking in a very quiet voice in the room because they don't want to actually let anybody else hear what they're saying. So they're trying to do their commentary very quietly so that it doesn't annoy anybody. Well, so you wouldn't want to annoy the players, would you? So this sort of microphone just isn't going to work. And you need to be able to speak very, very quietly. Equally, you need to be able to shout. So if it's a football match and you're yelling and screaming, the commentators are going to be yelling and screaming as well to try and get over the noise. This is the solution to the commentator's microphone pretty much worldwide. It's made by Coles now. It used to be STC, but it's a purpose-made commentator's microphone with a couple of quite unique features. The main one is a lip bar at the front. Now the idea of this is it lets you put the microphone hard up against that bit of skin between your lips and your nose. Now, it keeps it at a very precise distance so that the proximity effect that you'd normally get is designed out in the microphone to give a more neutral sound. But it needs to be kept at that precise distance from your mouth. Otherwise it sounds a bit weird. So you've got the bar at the front. That sticks the microphone firmly under your nose. That creates another problem, your two nostrils, because they're going to be aiming downwards. So there is another grill on the top of the microphone. It's quite pronounced. It's a metal grill, so it's perforated metal. And that grill on the top is designed to stop your nose sounds getting through to the mic. And they sound like this. So when you put them up against your mouth and you talk like this, the thing, as you move about, will travel with you. You push it up against that area between your nose and your lips, and you keep it there. Now, what you can do is talk very quietly. If you want to talk very quietly, that's absolutely fine. You can sort the gain out afterwards, but you've actually got quite a way of recording decent audio this close in, quietly. And equally, you can actually shout volumes like this. I'm talking really, really loudly, as if I was going to be shouting over the top of a horde of people yelling and screaming in a wrestling ring. Well, you can do that if you want to. That's what these microphones do. Now, the later versions have got a conventional XLR on the bottom. So you plug them in with an ordinary mic cable. If you've got an older one, then the cable is actually fixed. The cable came out at the bottom of the microphone and it's fixed. The story on these ones was that I bought this particular microphone a long time ago, and I was convinced that when I bought it second hand, because you can see the paint's frayed off the front. I bought it second hand, and I was convinced I'd bought a faulty microphone because it sounded horrible. And I thought, well, just put it down to experience. Only about 4, maybe 5 years ago, I had a little job come in that needed a commentary microphone, so I bought a new one. The new one sounds exactly the same. Because the microphone goes close to your mouth, there's quite a lot of internal parts in there to stop you blasting that ribbon. If you think about it, we tell people ribbons are delicate. The thing you should never do is give them a bang. You should never actually yell or shout into them because the air from your mouth will destroy the corrugations in the ribbon. All that's true. So when they cleverly designed this one, they've designed it with all sorts of filters inside that stop that blast of air damaging the ribbon. Of course, that gives a slight distortion to the frequency response, so they've tweaked that too. And most people do add a little bit of their own flavour of EQ on these things to try and make them sound nice. I think you have to. In this particular video, I haven't done that. You're hearing the sound exactly as it comes out of this microphone, so that you know what these microphones sound like. I'll do a little bit now. Here I've done my normal EQ tweak. So I've actually taken the output of the microphone and I've changed it very slightly just to make it a little bit more acceptable to modern tastes. It certainly isn't the sound that came straight out of the microphone that you were listening to a minute ago. So they're quite unusual creatures, these microphones. One of the things that's worried a few people during the COVID outbreak is, how do you keep the things safe? Well, they even thought about that. They came out with this little clip, and the idea with this is that you can take a little bit of thin foam, you can soak it in disinfectant or one of those type of sort of substances we've been using during COVID, sandwich the thing, pop it on the front, and you can just click it in there, and you've now got your sanitary and safe Coles Commentator's microphone. They are, of course, the sort of microphone that really gets so close to your mouth that would you really want to use one of these after somebody else had? Well, that little sanitary protection is a step in the right direction. It also means that a lot of commentators tend to buy their own and they take it with them, so it becomes theirs. They don't really want to share these microphones. Few people don't care, of course, and so they can use the cleanable filters. But most people would like to have their own one of these. So that's it. The Coles Commentator ribbon microphone. It's a really interesting mic, and nobody else seems to have made one like it. Anyway, that's the end of today. Promised it to be short. Look after yourselves. Click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.